When rideshare driver Logan Reed picked up the sharply dressed woman racing toward a meeting that would make or break her company, he had no idea he was about to become the only person standing between her and total destruction. What started as a routine morning drive would explode into corporate betrayal, impossible choices, and a truth so dangerous that speaking it out loud could cost them everything they had left. If you want to see how a single car ride can change two lives forever, stay with me until the end. Hit that like button and drop a comment with your city so I can see how far this story travels. Logan Reed's alarm went off at 4:45 in the morning, same as it had every weekday for the past 3 years. He didn't hit snooze, never did. The apartment was dark and quiet, and he moved through it with the careful efficiency of someone who'd learned to function on less sleep than any human probably should. In the small bedroom across the hall, his daughter Mia was still asleep, one arm thrown across her pillow, her dark hair tangled across her face. She was 7 now, growing too fast. Logan stood in the doorway for a moment, watching her breathe, then quietly pulled the door closed. The coffee maker gurgled to life while he showered. By 5:15, he was dressed in dark jeans and a plain gray shirt, his hair still damp, checking his phone for the day's first ride requests. The gig economy didn't sleep, and neither did single fathers with rent to pay. His car was a 6-year-old Honda Accord with 140,000 miles on it, clean interior, no air freshener. He'd learned early on that half his passengers hated whatever scent he picked, so he just kept the windows cracked and the upholstery vacuumed. Simple, professional, forgettable. By 6:30, he'd already completed 2 airport runs. Quick, quiet trips with passengers who mostly just stared at their phones. Logan preferred it that way. Less small talk meant less energy spent pretending to be someone he wasn't. The third request pinged through at 7:18. Pick up on Montgomery Street downtown. Drop off at the Bayside Financial Tower. Estimated fare $22. He accepted it and pulled into traffic. Montgomery Street was all glass and steel, the kind of neighborhood where people wore suits that cost more than Logan made in a month. He pulled up to the address and checked the app. Passenger name, Ava Sinclair. She came through the revolving door like a woman on fire. Mid-20s, maybe. Dark blazer, white blouse, hair pulled back tight. She had a leather bag slung over one shoulder and a tablet clutched against her chest like a shield. Her heels clicked sharp and fast on the pavement. Logan unlocked the doors. She yanked the back door open, slid in, and immediately said, "Bayside Financial, fast as you can without getting pulled over." "Good morning to you too," Logan said mildly, pulling away from the curb. Ava didn't look up. "Morning, sorry, big meeting, running late." "You're fine, we'll get you there." She was already swiping through something on her tablet, her jaw tight. Logan glanced at her in the rearview mirror. She had that look he'd seen before. The one people got when everything was riding on the next 30 minutes, and they were just barely holding it together. He didn't ask questions. Wasn't his business. Traffic on 4th was heavier than usual. Construction cones funneled 3 lanes into one. Logan shifted right, looking for an opening. "Can you go around?" Ava's voice was sharp. "Not unless you want me to drive on the sidewalk." "I'm serious. I can't be late for this." "I get it," Logan said evenly. "But unless you've got a helicopter in that bag, we're stuck like everyone else." She exhaled hard and went back to her tablet. Logan found a gap and merged. The line crawled forward. Ava's knee bounced. She kept checking her watch, then her tablet, then her watch again. "You okay back there?" Logan asked. "Fine." "You don't look fine." "I'm fine." She bit the word off like she was chewing glass. Logan let it drop. They made it through the bottleneck and picked up speed. Ava's tablet chimed. She tapped the screen, frowned, swiped again. Then she made a small noise in the back of her throat, half frustration, half panic. "Something wrong?" Logan asked. "No, yes, maybe, I don't know." She was staring at the screen like it had just insulted her entire family. "These numbers don't make sense." "What numbers?" "Revenue projections. I've been over these 100 times. They were clean yesterday. Now they're—" She stopped, shaking her head. "Never mind. You wouldn't understand." Logan kept his eyes on the road. "Try me." Ava looked up, meeting his gaze in the mirror. "You work in data analytics?" "No." "Then you wouldn't understand." "Fair enough." She went back to her tablet, muttering something under her breath. Logan took a left onto Embarcadero, weaving through the morning rush. The Bayside Financial Tower was visible now, a sleek column of black glass rising 30 floors above the waterfront. Ava's tablet chimed again. This time she didn't just frown, she froze. What the hell? Logan glanced back. What? This can't be right. Her voice had gone thin. This is... No. No. You want to pull over? No, I need to get to this meeting. But she didn't sound sure anymore. She was scrolling frantically now, her thumb flying across the screen. Something's wrong. Something's really wrong. With the numbers? With everything. She looked up, and for the first time Logan saw genuine fear in her eyes. My entire dashboard just changed. User data, conversion rates, revenue streams. It's all shifted, like someone went in and rewrote the whole thing overnight. Could it be a software update? We don't do updates like this? Not without notice. Not the night before a major investor pitch. She pressed a hand to her forehead. I'm walking into that building in 10 minutes to present a 5-year growth model based on data that just evaporated. Logan pulled up to a red light. You think someone messed with it on purpose? I don't know. Her phone rang. She answered without checking the screen. Marcus, thank God. Tell me you're seeing this too. She listened. Her face went pale. What do you mean the backups are corrupted? We have redundancies. She stopped, listened, then closed her eyes. Okay, just keep trying. I'll be there in 5 minutes. She hung up. Logan watched her in the mirror. She looked like someone who'd just been told the ground beneath her was about to collapse. Bad news? He asked quietly. The worst! She leaned back against the seat, staring at nothing. My lead developer just told me our entire database has been compromised. Corrupted files, broken backups, missing records. He doesn't know how it happened or when. And in exactly, she checked her watch, 8 minutes, I'm supposed to walk into a room full of investors and convince them to give me $20 million based on data I can no longer verify. The light turned green. Logan accelerated smoothly. Can you reschedule? He asked. No, these people flew in from New York. This meeting took 6 months to set up. If I cancel now, I'm done. They'll never take me seriously again. And if you go in with bad data, I'm also done. She laughed, but there was no humor in it. So basically, I'm screwed either way. Logan didn't respond. He was thinking. They were 2 blocks from Bayside Financial now. Morning sun glinted off the tower's black glass facade. People in expensive suits moved through the revolving doors like ants through a hive. Ava was staring at her tablet again, her expression hollow. This was supposed to be it, she said softly. 3 years of work, 80-hour weeks. Everything I had went into this company, and now it's just gone. Because of some technical glitch I don't even understand. Logan pulled up to the curb in front of the building. Ava didn't move. You're here, Logan said. I know. She sat there, tablet in her lap, staring at the building like it was a firing squad. Then Logan said, Can I see it? Ava blinked. What? Your dashboard, the data that changed. Why? Just curious. She gave him a look that was half confusion, half annoyance. You said you don't work in analytics. I don't, but I know numbers. What does that mean? Logan shrugged. I drove a cab for 2 years before I switched to rideshare. You learn to spot patterns. People lie about where they're going to save a few bucks. Companies mess with surge pricing algorithms to squeeze drivers. I got pretty good at seeing when something didn't add up. Ava studied him for a long moment. Then, almost against her better judgment, she turned the tablet around. Logan leaned back to get a better look. The screen showed a complex dashboard with graphs, charts, and columns of numbers. Revenue trends, user acquisition rates, profit margins. It was dense, technical, the kind of thing that would make most people's eyes glaze over. Logan scanned it slowly. What am I looking at? He asked. My company's entire financial picture, or what's left of it. Ava pointed to a graph. This is our monthly recurring revenue. Yesterday it was climbing steadily. Today it shows a massive drop in March that never happened. And this? Logan pointed to another section. Customer lifetime value. Also wrong. The numbers are lower across the board. Logan frowned. But the graph shape is the same. What? Look. He leaned closer. The trend line. It's still going up at the same angle, just shifted down. Ava looked. He was right. The curve was identical, just offset by what looked like a fixed percentage. She stopped. That's weird. Is it? Logan asked. If someone wanted to sabotage your data, wouldn't they randomize it? Make it look completely broken? I guess, but why would someone do this instead? Because it's not supposed to look broken. It's supposed to look worse. Logan pointed to another column. Look at these customer segments. The high-value users are still there. The growth rate's still there. But the baseline revenue is lower, like someone went in and dialed everything down by 20%. Ava stared at the screen, then at Logan. Who the hell are you? She asked. Just a driver. Drivers don't analyze data like that. This one does. Logan met her eyes in the mirror. You've got about 6 minutes before your meeting. You can walk in there and wing it, or you can take another look at what you're actually dealing with. Your call. Ava's phone buzzed. She glanced at it. A text from someone named Chloe. Investors are in the conference room. Where are you? She looked at Logan, then at the building, then back at her tablet. If I miss this meeting, my company dies, she said. If you walk in there unprepared, it dies anyway. Ava's jaw tightened. She made a decision. Drive around the block, she said. Logan didn't hesitate. He pulled back into traffic. Ava pulled up another screen on her tablet. Okay, talk me through what you're seeing. Start with the March drop, Logan said. You said it didn't happen. What should the number be? 3.2 million in recurring revenue. It's showing 2.6. That's about 18% down. Right. Now check April. Ava swiped. April should be 3.5. It's showing 2.9. Still 18% down. She checked May. June, July. Every month showed the same proportional reduction. It's consistent, she said slowly, like someone applied a formula to the entire dataset. Exactly. Logan turned onto a side street, which means it's not random corruption. Someone went in and changed the baseline calculation. But our system doesn't work like that. Revenue is calculated from raw transaction data. You can't just shift the baseline without altering thousands of individual records. Unless you change the formula that reads those records. Ava went very still. The aggregation script. The what? The script that pulls raw transactions and calculates total revenue. If someone modified that, she started typing frantically. Oh my God. What? There's a modifier in the code, 0.82. It's multiplying every revenue figure by 0.82 before displaying it. Logan pulled up to a stoplight. So the real data is still there. It's just being filtered through bad math. Yes, which means... Ava looked up, her expression shifting from panic to something sharper. Which means this wasn't a hack. It was deliberate. Someone with access to our codebase did this on purpose. Who has that access? Only my core team, 3 engineers, my CTO, and me. Any of them have a reason to tank your company? Ava opened her mouth, closed it. Her eyes narrowed. Marcus, she said quietly. Your lead developer? My CTO, Marcus Chen. He's been with me since the beginning. He built half this system. She scrolled through her phone, pulling up old messages. 3 weeks ago, he asked me about equity restructuring. He wanted to renegotiate his shares. I told him we'd talk after this funding round. How'd he take it? Not well, but I didn't think... She stopped. I didn't think he'd do this. Logan turned back onto the main road. The Bayside Financial Tower loomed ahead again. You need proof, Logan said. Right now, it's just a theory. I have the code. That's proof. Of the change, not of who made it. Ava pulled up another screen. We have version control. Every change is logged with a timestamp and a user ID. She typed fast, navigating through layers of technical interface. Then she stopped. What? Logan asked. The last modification was made at 2:14 this morning. She looked up. By me? Logan frowned. Were you awake at 2:14 this morning? No, I was asleep. Then someone used your credentials. Marcus has admin access. He could have spoofed my login. Ava's hands were shaking now, not from fear, from anger. He framed me, made it look like I sabotaged my own company. Why would he do that? Because if this deal falls through, the company's worthless. And if the company's worthless, I'll have to sell it for scraps. Probably to someone Marcus already has lined up. She laughed bitterly. He gets the company for pennies on the dollar, and I get nothing. Logan pulled up to the curb again. Same spot as before. So what are you going to do? He asked. Ava sat there staring at the building. Her phone buzzed again. Another text from Chloe. Where are you? They're getting impatient. She looked at Logan in the mirror. I'm going to walk in there, she said slowly, and I'm going to tell them the truth. Which truth? That there was a technical issue overnight, that we identified it, that the real numbers are solid. She straightened her blazer. And then I'm going to have a very long conversation with Marcus. You sure you want to do that alone? Ava paused. What do you mean? Logan turned in his seat to look at her directly. If Marcus is smart enough to pull this off, he's smart enough to have a backup plan. The second you confront him, he's going to deny everything. Flip the script, make you look paranoid or incompetent. So what do I do? You get someone in the room who can verify what you found, someone who doesn't have a stake in the outcome. Ava stared at him. You. I'm just saying, you walk in there solo, it's your word against his. But if you bring in an outside consultant who spotted the issue, you're not a consultant, you're an Uber driver. Rideshare driver. And yeah, I am, but they don't know that. Logan shrugged. You tell them I'm an independent analyst you brought in to audit your data security. I back up your story about the code modification. Suddenly it's not just you pointing fingers, it's a credible third party. Ava looked at him like he'd just suggested they rob a bank. That's insane, she said. Probably. You could get in serious trouble, impersonating a consultant, lying to investors. I wouldn't be impersonating anyone. I'd just be there. You're the one who'd be telling them I'm a consultant. I'd just nod and confirm what we found. That's still fraud. Maybe. Or maybe it's just strategy. Logan checked the time on the dashboard. Either way, you've got about 3 minutes to decide. Ava's phone rang. She looked at the screen. Marcus. She didn't answer. Instead, she looked at Logan. Really looked at him. This stranger who'd somehow walked into the worst morning of her life and started solving problems she didn't even know she had. Why would you do this? She asked. You don't know me. You don't owe me anything. Logan thought about Mia, asleep in her bed this morning, about the scholarship applications he'd been filling out for her, trying to figure out how to afford a future she deserved, about the way the world worked for people like Ava, people with money and power and access, and the way it worked for people like him, who just kept their heads down and drove. Because someone's trying to screw you over, he said simply. And I don't like that. Ava held his gaze. Then she made a decision that would change both their lives. Okay, she said. Let's do it. Logan nodded. He parked the car, killed the engine, and got out. By the time he opened Ava's door, she was already halfway out, tablet in hand, jaw set. Stay close, she said. And for God's sake, look confident. I drive for a living, Logan said. I'm excellent at pretending I know where I'm going. They walked into the Bayside Financial Tower together. The lobby was all marble and glass, the kind of space designed to make you feel small. Ava strode toward the elevators like she owned the place. Logan followed, hands in his pockets, trying to look like someone who belonged in a building like this. They rode up to the 23rd floor in silence. When the doors opened, a young woman in a sharp pantsuit was waiting. Ava, thank God. They've been asking for you. I know, Chloe. I'm sorry. Technical issue. Ava gestured to Logan. This is Logan Reed. He's the data security consultant I brought in to review our systems. Chloe blinked. I didn't know we had a consultant. Last-minute decision. After what happened this morning, I thought it was necessary. Chloe glanced at Logan. He gave her a polite nod. Okay, Chloe said slowly. Well, they're in conference room A. Marcus is already in there. Ava's expression didn't change. Perfect. They followed Chloe down a sleek hallway. Through the glass walls, Logan could see people working at standing desks, staring at multiple monitors, typing frantically. This was Ava's company. Her dream. And someone inside it was trying to burn it down. Chloe stopped at a large conference room. Through the glass, Logan could see 4 people seated around a table, 3 men in suits, 1 woman in a navy dress. All of them looked expensive and impatient, and at the head of the table, standing near a projector screen, was a man in his early 30s with dark-rimmed glasses and a thin smile. Marcus Chen. He looked up as Ava entered. His smile widened. "There she is," he said warmly. "I was starting to worry." Ava walked in, Logan one step behind her. "Sorry I'm late," Ava said smoothly. "We had a situation overnight, data integrity issue. Logan here helped me track it down." Marcus's eyes flicked to Logan. For just a moment, something sharp passed across his face. Then it was gone, replaced by professional curiosity. "Data integrity issue?" Marcus said. "First I'm hearing about it." "Really?" Ava's voice was calm, but Logan could hear the steel underneath. "Because according to our logs, someone accessed the aggregation script at 2:14 this morning and modified the revenue calculation formula." Marcus blinked. "That's impossible." "Is it?" Ava pulled out her tablet. "Because I have the version control history right here. Change made at 02:14. User ID A. Sinclair. Which is interesting since I was asleep at the time." One of the investors, a silver-haired man in a charcoal suit, leaned forward. "Miss Sinclair, what exactly is going on here?" Ava didn't break eye contact with Marcus. "What's going on, Mr. Hartman, is that someone tried to sabotage this meeting by corrupting our financial data. They altered the revenue aggregation script to make our numbers look 18% worse than they actually are." "That's a serious accusation," Marcus said quietly. "It's a serious crime," Ava shot back. "Wait," the woman in the navy dress said. "Are you saying your data was hacked?" "Not hacked," Logan said. All eyes turned to him. He kept his voice calm, factual. "The modification came from inside the system. Someone with admin access used Ms. Sinclair's credentials to make the change and cover their tracks." Marcus looked at Logan like he was a bug that had just crawled onto the conference table. "I'm sorry, who are you again?" "Logan Reed, data security consultant." "Funny. I don't remember hiring a data security consultant." "You didn't," Ava said. "I did. This morning, after I realized someone on my team was trying to destroy this deal." The room went very quiet. Marcus's smile had vanished. "Ava, if you're implying what I think you're implying..." "I'm not implying anything. I'm stating a fact. Someone modified our codebase to manipulate investor-facing data. And the only people with that level of access are you, me, and 3 engineers who were all off-site last night." "This is insane," Marcus said, but his voice had lost some of its confidence. Mr. Hartman stood up. "Ms. Sinclair, I appreciate your transparency, but if your company's data has been compromised, we need to postpone this meeting until—" "The data isn't compromised," Ava interrupted. "The raw data is intact. It's just being filtered through a modified calculation. We can revert the change in under 5 minutes and give you the real numbers." "Or," Marcus said, his voice hardening, "what actually happened is that Ava made a mistake in her calculations, panicked when she realized it this morning, and is now spinning this conspiracy theory to cover her own incompetence." Logan watched Ava's face, saw the flash of doubt, the fear that maybe Marcus was better at this game than she was. Then he spoke. "If that were true," Logan said calmly, "the modification wouldn't have been made at 2 in the morning using admin override protocols. It would have been a normal edit during business hours." He looked at Marcus. "Unless you're suggesting Ms. Sinclair regularly logs into her own system in the middle of the night to sabotage herself?" Marcus's jaw tightened. Mr. Hartman looked between them. "I think we need to see proof, real proof, not just accusations." "Agreed," Ava said. She opened her laptop, connected it to the projector. "Logan, walk them through it." Logan stepped forward, and for the next 10 minutes, in front of 4 skeptical investors and 1 increasingly cornered CTO, he broke down exactly what had been done to Ava's code, how it had been hidden, and why it could only have been an inside job. He wasn't smooth, he wasn't polished, but he was clear, and he was right. By the time he finished, Marcus's face had gone pale. Mr. Hartman looked at Ava. "Can you prove he did it?" "I can prove someone used my login from an IP address that traces back to Marcus's home network," Ava said quietly. "I can prove that 3 weeks ago, Marcus asked me to renegotiate his equity stake, and I refused. And I can prove that if this deal had fallen through, my company would have been worth nothing, except to someone positioned to buy it for cheap." Marcus stood up. "This is ridiculous. You're destroying your own credibility right now, Ava. These people came here to invest in a stable company, not a paranoid founder who throws her CTO under the bus because she can't handle pressure. Then prove me wrong, Ava said. Let's pull the access logs right now. Let's check your laptop. Let's see what you were doing at 2:14 this morning. Marcus didn't move. The room waited. Then Marcus did something Logan didn't expect. He smiled. You know what? Marcus said. Fine, check the logs. Check my laptop. You won't find anything. Because he'd already wiped it. Logan could see it in his eyes. Ava saw it too. And for just a moment, Logan thought they'd lost. Then Ava said, You're right. I won't find anything on your laptop, but I will find something in the backup server logs. The ones you don't have access to, delete. Marcus's smile faltered. There's a secondary logging system, Ava continued, her voice gaining strength. Enterprise grade. Tracks every admin action across the entire network. You didn't know about it because I had it installed 2 months ago without telling anyone, after our last security audit recommended it. She pulled up a new screen. And there it was, clear as day, admin override, Marcus's secondary credentials. 2:14 a.m. Marcus stared at the screen. Then he turned and walked out of the conference room without a word. The investors sat in stunned silence. Ava stood there gripping the edge of the table, looking like someone who'd just fought a war and wasn't sure if she'd won. Mr. Hartman cleared his throat. Miss Sinclair, I think we're going to need some time to process what just happened here. I understand, Ava said quietly. But Hartman continued, I want you to know that the way you handled this, identifying the problem, bringing in outside help, confronting it head on, that takes guts and competence. 2 things we look for in founders. Ava looked up. We'll be in touch, Hartman said. Probably sooner than you think. They filed out. Professional, composed. But Logan caught the look Hartman gave Ava on his way out. It wasn't pity, it was respect. When the room was empty, Ava sank into a chair. Logan stood by the door, hands in his pockets. Did that just happen? Ava asked. Yeah. Did I just accuse my CTO of corporate sabotage in front of 4 major investors? Yeah. Did it work? Logan shrugged. You're still here. They're still talking. I'd call that a win. Ava laughed. It came out shaky, almost hysterical. I can't believe you just did that. Walked in here and... She stopped. Why did you do that? Logan looked at her. This woman who'd been a stranger an hour ago, who'd probably forget his name by tomorrow. Because you needed help, he said simply. And I could. Ava stood up, crossed the room, and held out her hand. Thank you, she said. Logan shook it. You're welcome. What do I owe you? For the ride, for the consulting, for all of it? $22. That's what the app says. I'm serious. So am I. Ava stared at him. Then she pulled out her phone, opened her banking app, and transferred $5,000. Logan's phone buzzed. He looked at the notification, looked at her. I can't accept this, he said. You just saved my company. $5,000 is nothing. It's not nothing to me. Then consider it an investment, Ava said, in the kind of person who shows up when it matters. Logan didn't know what to say to that. Before he could figure it out, Chloe appeared in the doorway. Ava, building security just escorted Marcus out. He's gone. What do you want me to do about his access? Revoke everything, Ava said, and get our lawyer on the phone. We're going to need to move fast. Chloe nodded and disappeared. Ava turned back to Logan. I need to deal with this, but she hesitated. Are you free later? I'd like to buy you dinner, actual dinner, not just cash. Logan thought about Mia, about the sitter he'd have to call, about the fact that he was standing in a world that wasn't his and probably never would be. I've got a daughter, he said. I need to be home by 6. Lunch then, tomorrow, wherever you want. Logan nodded. Okay? Okay. Ava smiled, a real smile this time. Thank you, Logan, really. Don't thank me yet, Logan said. Thank me if they actually fund you. They will. Ava straightened her blazer. They have to. Because I just bet everything on the truth, and if that's not worth investing in, I don't know what is. Logan left her there, standing in the conference room where she'd just fought for her life. He rode the elevator down alone, walked out through the marble lobby, got back in his car. His phone buzzed. 3 new ride requests. He accepted the first one and pulled into traffic. Just another morning. Just another fare. Except it wasn't. And Logan Reed, who'd spent 3 years being invisible, had just become the most important person in Ava Sinclair's world. He just didn't know it yet. Logan picked up Mia from school at 3:15, same as always. She came bounding out of the building with her backpack hanging off one shoulder, talking before she even reached the car. "Dad, guess what? Mrs. Patterson said my essay was the best in the class, and she's going to put it on the bulletin board, and can we get ice cream because Emma got ice cream yesterday, and her mom said, 'Seatbelt first,'" Logan said. Mia climbed into the back, still talking. Logan waited until he heard the click before pulling away from the curb. "So can we?" Mia asked. "Can we what?" "Get ice cream." Logan glanced at her in the rearview mirror. She had his dark hair and her mother's eyes, big and hopeful and completely convinced the world would give her what she wanted if she just asked nicely enough. "Maybe this weekend," he said. "That's what you said last weekend." "And we got ice cream last weekend." "That was frozen yogurt. That doesn't count." Logan smiled despite himself. "Since when?" "Since Emma told me frozen yogurt is what parents get when they're pretending to get ice cream, but really they just want you to eat healthy." "Emma sounds like a troublemaker." "Emma's my best friend." "That's what I said." Mia kicked the back of his seat, but gently, playfully. "You're weird." "You're weirder." They drove home through afternoon traffic, Mia chattering about her day, about the science project she had to do, about how Tyler Morrison ate a crayon on a dare and had to go to the nurse. Normal things, safe things, the kind of day Logan had built his entire life around protecting. Their apartment was on the 3rd floor of a building that had seen better decades. The elevator worked half the time. Today wasn't one of those times. "Race you," Mia said, already halfway up the first flight of stairs. Logan took his time. Let her win. She was waiting at their door when he arrived, grinning. "I'm faster than you now," she announced. "You've always been faster than me." "Nuh-uh. Last year you could still catch me. Last year you were 6. So? So you're bigger now." Mia considered this. "Does that mean I'm almost grown up?" Logan unlocked the door. "Not even close." She groaned and disappeared into her room. Logan heard her backpack hit the floor, heard her flop onto her bed. The sounds of a life he'd somehow managed to build from nothing. His phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "Hey, it's Ava. Is noon tomorrow still good for you?" "I know a place in North Beach. Nothing fancy." Logan stared at the message. He'd half expected her to forget. People like Ava didn't usually remember people like him once the crisis passed. He typed back, "Noon works. Send me the address." 3 dots appeared. Then, "Stella's Cafe, corner of Columbus and Green. And Logan, thank you again. For everything." He didn't respond, just set his phone down and started making dinner. Mia emerged 20 minutes later, drawn by the smell of garlic and chicken. "What are we having?" "Pasta." "With the good sauce? Is there bad sauce?" "The jar kind." Logan pointed to the pot on the stove where tomatoes were simmering with basil and olive oil. "Not tonight." Mia climbed onto the counter to watch. Logan didn't tell her to get down. These were the moments he lived for, the quiet ones, the ones where nothing was falling apart. "Dad?" Mia said. "Yeah?" "Why do you drive people around all day?" Logan stirred the sauce. "Because it pays the bills." "But don't you want to do something else?" "Like what?" Mia shrugged. "I don't know. Something important." Logan looked at her. 7 years old and already asking questions he didn't have good answers for. "This is important," he said. "It keeps us fed, keeps you in school. That's about as important as it gets." Emma's dad works in an office. He wears a tie. "You want me to wear a tie?" "No, ties are dumb." Mia swung her legs. "I just wondered if you wanted to." Logan turned off the stove, served 2 plates. They ate at the small table by the window, Mia telling him about the science project again, about how they had to build something that demonstrated energy transfer, and she wanted to make a catapult, but Mrs. Patterson said catapults were overdone. "What about a pulley system?" Logan suggested. "What's that?" He grabbed a piece of string and Mia's water bottle, rigged up a simple demonstration using the curtain rod. Mia's eyes went wide. "That's so cool. Can we build a big one?" "Sure, this weekend." "You always say this weekend, and I always mean it." After dinner, Mia did homework at the table while Logan cleaned up. His phone buzzed again. Another text, this time from a number he recognized. His sister, Rebecca. Hey, stranger. Haven't heard from you in a while. Everything okay? Logan dried his hands and typed back. All good. Just busy. Too busy to call your favorite sister? You're my only sister. Exactly, which makes me your favorite by default. Call me this week? I'll try. He wouldn't. Not because he didn't want to, but because talking to Rebecca meant answering questions about his life, and his life was exactly what he didn't want to talk about. By 8:30, Mia was in bed. Logan sat on the couch with his laptop, going through the day's earnings. 6 rides before the Ava pickup, 4 after. Total, $212 before expenses. Subtract gas, car payment, insurance, and he cleared about 80. Not great, not terrible. The $5,000 from Ava sat in his account like a mistake, like money that would disappear the moment he touched it. He thought about what she'd said. An investment in the kind of person who shows up when it matters. What the hell did that even mean? Logan closed the laptop and went to bed. The next morning, he dropped Mia at school and spent the morning doing rides. 3 airport runs, 1 hospital pickup, 2 business commutes. By 11:30, he was parking near North Beach, early for once. Stella's Cafe was small and cramped, the kind of place that probably had regulars who'd been coming for 30 years. Logan walked in and spotted Ava immediately. She was sitting at a corner table, laptop open, typing fast. She looked up when he approached. You're early. So are you. I'm always early. She closed the laptop. It's a condition. Sit. Logan sat. A waitress appeared, older woman with tired eyes and a practiced smile. What can I get you? Coffee, Logan said. Black. Same, Ava said. And 2 of the turkey clubs. The waitress left. Ava leaned back in her chair, studying Logan like he was a puzzle she hadn't quite solved. So, she said, data security consultant. Rideshare driver. You were pretty convincing yesterday. I've had practice. At lying? At adapting. Logan met her eyes. You do what you have to do. Ava nodded slowly. Fair enough. The coffee arrived. Logan wrapped his hands around the mug, letting the heat sink in. I need to ask you something, Ava said. Okay. How did you know? About the code, the patterns, all of it. You said you drove a cab. That doesn't exactly scream data analysis. Logan shrugged. I went to college, dropped out 2nd year when my ex got pregnant, but I got through most of a computer science degree before that happened. Ava's eyebrows went up. You studied CS? Surprised? A little, yeah. Because I drive for a living? Because you're wasting a perfectly good skill set driving for a living. Ava leaned forward. Do you know what people with your ability to spot patterns in complex systems get paid? Less than I need to support a kid, apparently. Not if you're working for the right company. Logan took a sip of coffee. It was good. Better than the stuff he made at home. Is this a job interview? Maybe. I'm not looking for a job. Why not? Because I have a job. One that pays you $80 a day after expenses, Ava said. Logan's face must have shown something because she added, I'm guessing, but I'm close, right? Close enough. The food came. Turkey clubs stacked high with bacon and avocado. Logan hadn't eaten anything this expensive in months. I looked you up, Ava said, picking up half her sandwich. After you left yesterday. Logan Reed, 32. Divorced 3 years ago. Full custody of your daughter. No criminal record, no debt, no red flags. Just a guy who works 60-hour weeks and doesn't complain. Logan put down his coffee. That's a little invasive. I needed to know who I was dealing with. And what did you decide? That you're either the most genuine person I've met in years, or you're playing a very long game. She took a bite, chewed, swallowed. I'm betting on genuine. Good bet. So here's what I want to propose. Ava wiped her hands on a napkin. I need a new CTO. Marcus is gone, out, done. I've got lawyers handling the mess, but the reality is, I need someone who can step in and stabilize the technical side of my company before the investors get nervous. Logan stared at her. You can't be serious. I'm completely serious. You met me yesterday. I helped you spot one problem. That doesn't make me qualified to run your technology department. No, but it makes you qualified to help me find the person who is. Ava pushed her laptop across the table. Look at this. Logan looked. Job posting. Senior technical advisor. 6-month contract. Compensation. $15,000 a month plus equity options. He pushed the laptop back. I can't do this. Why not? Because I have a daughter who needs me home at night. Because I don't have a degree. Because I haven't written production code in 10 years. Because you're scared, Ava interrupted. Logan's jaw tightened. Excuse me? You're scared that if you try and fail, you'll prove that driving really is all you're good for. So you don't try. You stay safe. You keep your head down. And you wonder why your daughter asks if you want to do something important. Logan stood up. I don't need this. Sit down. I'm leaving. Logan, sit down. There was something in her voice, not command, not manipulation, just honesty. Logan sat. Ava softened. I'm sorry, that was out of line. Yeah, it was. But I'm not wrong. Logan didn't respond. Look, Ava said. I'm not asking you to quit your life and move into my office. I'm asking you to consult. Part-time. A few hours a week. Help me interview CTO candidates. Review technical decisions. Be the person in the room who spots the bullshit before it becomes a crisis. Why me? Because you see things other people miss. Because you don't have an agenda. And because yesterday when I needed someone, you showed up. She paused. I trust that. I don't trust much, but I trust that. Logan looked at the laptop. At the number on the screen. $15,000 a month was more than he made in 6 months of driving. I'd need flexible hours, he said slowly. Ava nodded. Done. And I'd need to be able to walk away if it doesn't work. Of course. And I don't wear ties. Ava smiled. Neither do I. Logan sat back, thought about Mia, about the scholarship applications, about the apartment with the broken elevator and the car with 140,000 miles. When would I start? He asked. Monday. I've got 3 CTO candidates interviewing. I want you there. I've never interviewed anyone for a technical position. Neither have I. That's why we're doing it together. Logan picked up his sandwich, took a bite. It tasted like possibility. Okay, he said. Okay? I'll try it. 3 months. If it's not working, I'm out. Ava held out her hand. Deal. They shook on it, and just like that, Logan Reed stopped being invisible. The weekend passed in a blur. Logan told Mia he was taking on some extra work, helping a company with computer stuff. She asked if that meant they could get real ice cream now. He said yes. They built the pulley system for her science project on Saturday using spools of thread and old water bottles and a cardboard box Logan found in the recycling. Mia was thrilled. Logan took pictures of her holding it up, grinning like she'd just invented electricity. Sunday night, after Mia was asleep, Logan sat at his laptop and did something he hadn't done in years. He reviewed code. Ava had sent him access to her company's GitHub repository, 3 years of development history, thousands of commits, dozens of contributors. Logan started reading. By 2 a.m, he had a notebook full of observations. Security vulnerabilities, inefficient algorithms. Technical debt piled so high it was a miracle the system worked at all. He also saw something else. Potential. Real potential. Ava's product was good. The architecture was solid. With the right leadership, this company could actually be something. Logan closed his laptop and went to bed. Monday morning, he dropped Mia at school and drove straight to Ava's office. She met him in the lobby, 2 coffees in hand. You look tired, she said, handing him one. I was up late. Doing what? Reading your code base. Ava stopped walking. You read the whole thing? Most of it. That's like 50,000 lines of code. Closer to 62, Logan said. You've got a memory leak in the user authentication module, by the way. It's small, but it'll crash the system if you ever hit 10,000 concurrent users. Ava stared at him. Are you serious? Very. Show me. They went up to her office. Logan pulled up the code on her machine, walked her through the issue. It took 10 minutes. By the end, Ava was shaking her head in disbelief. We've had 3 different engineers look at that module. None of them caught it. They weren't looking for it. And you were? I was looking for everything. Logan closed the laptop. That's what you hired me for, right? I hired you to help me interview candidates. You hired me to keep your company from falling apart. Same thing. Ava smiled. Okay, let's go meet candidate number 1. The first interview was a disaster. The guy was technically competent but condescending, talking over Ava every time she asked a question. Logan sat quietly in the corner watching. When the candidate left, Ava looked at him. Well? He's a dick, Logan said. Agreed, but is he a competent dick? Doesn't matter. You hire him, he'll undermine you within a month. How do you know? Because he's already doing it. Did you notice how he kept redirecting your technical questions to me? Like I was the real authority in the room? Ava frowned. I thought he was just being inclusive. He was being sexist, subtly. But yeah, Ava sat back. Huh. Huh what? I almost hired him. Don't. The second candidate was better. Smart, respectful, experienced. But when Logan asked him to explain how he'd handle a critical system failure, the guy gave a textbook answer. Perfect. Polished. Completely useless. He's never actually dealt with a crisis, Logan said after the interview. He said he has. He said what he thought you wanted to hear. There's a difference. Ava rubbed her temples. This is harder than I thought. You're looking for someone perfect, Logan said. Perfect doesn't exist. You need someone who can handle the chaos. And how do I find that? You already did. Ava looked at him. Logan, I can't make you CTO. You said it yourself. You don't have a degree. You haven't coded in years. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about promoting from within. Your senior engineer, Priya. She's good. Really good. I saw her commits. She doesn't just fix problems. She anticipates them. Priya's 26. The investors will never take her seriously. Then make them. Logan leaned forward. You stood in front of those same investors 2 days ago and accused your CTO of sabotage. They didn't walk away. They respected you for it. You think they're going to balk at you promoting a brilliant engineer just because she's young? Ava was quiet for a long moment. What if she doesn't want it? She finally asked. Then you find out. Ava picked up her phone. Sent a text. 2 minutes later, there was a knock on the door. Priya Sharma walked in. She was short, with dark hair pulled into a messy bun, wearing a hoodie that said, I void warranties in faded letters. You wanted to see me? She said. Ava gestured to a chair. Sit. We need to talk. Priya sat, looking nervous. How long have you been working here? Ava asked. 2 years. Almost 3. And in that time, how many critical bugs have you caught before they went to production? Priya blinked. I don't know. A lot? 47, Logan said. Both women looked at him. I went through the commit history. 47 bugs that would have caused major issues. You caught them all. Priya's face reddened. I was just doing my job. You were doing Marcus's job, Ava said. He took credit for your work, didn't he? Priya hesitated, then nodded. Did he ever ask your opinion on major technical decisions? Sometimes. And did he listen? Not really. Ava leaned back. How would you feel about being CTO? Priya's eyes went wide. What? CTO, Chief Technical Officer, running the entire engineering department. I can't. I'm not qualified. I don't have an MBA or... Neither do I, Ava said, and I'm the CEO. Turns out credentials don't mean much if you can't actually do the job. Priya looked at Logan. Is she serious? Very, Logan said, but I've never managed anyone. I wouldn't know where to start. You'd start by doing what you've been doing, Logan said, except now you'd have the authority to make decisions instead of just suggestions. And you'd have support, Ava added. Logan's staying on as technical advisor. He'll help you through the transition. Priya looked between them. This is insane. Probably, Ava said, but it's also the right call. I need someone I can trust. Someone who actually cares about this company. That's you. Priya was quiet for a long time. Then she said, Can I think about it? You've got 24 hours, Ava said. After that, I'm going with candidate number 3, and he's definitely going to be a nightmare. Priya laughed despite herself. Okay, I'll think about it. After she left, Ava turned to Logan. Think she'll say yes? Yeah. How do you know? Because she's been waiting for someone to see her. You just did. Ava nodded slowly. You're good at this. At what? Reading people, seeing what they need. Logan shrugged. Comes with the job. You spend enough time driving strangers around, you learn to pay attention. His phone buzzed. A text from the school. Mia's not feeling well. Can you pick her up? Logan stood. I have to go. Everything okay? My daughter, she's sick. Go. We're done here anyway. Logan headed for the door, then stopped. Ava? Yeah? You're going to be fine. With Priya, with the investors, all of it. You're tougher than you think. Ava smiled. So are you. Logan left, and for the first time in 3 years, he felt like he was walking towards something instead of just away from everything else. He picked up Mia from the nurse's office. She had a low fever, nothing serious. They went home, and Logan made her soup while she curled up on the couch watching cartoons. Dad? She said. Yeah, kiddo? Is your new job important? Logan brought her the soup, sat down next to her. Why do you ask? Because you look different, like you're thinking about big stuff. Logan smoothed her hair back. I'm just helping someone, that's all. Is it someone nice? Yeah, she's nice. Good. Mia took a sip of soup. You should help nice people. Logan smiled. I'll keep that in mind. That night, after Mia was asleep, Logan got a text from Ava. Priya said yes. You were right, thank you. Logan typed back. Good. She'll do great, she will, because she'll have help. Logan stared at the message, then typed, We all need help sometimes. Even you? Logan thought about that. About the years he'd spent doing everything alone. About the pride that came with self-reliance and the loneliness that came with it too. Yeah, he typed, even me. 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Good to know, Ava finally sent. See you tomorrow. Logan set his phone down and looked around his small apartment, at the dishes in the sink, at Mia's backpack by the door, at the life he'd built from scratch and protected with everything he had. It wasn't much, but it was his. And for the first time in a long time, he thought maybe, just maybe, it could be more. 3 weeks into the consulting gig, Logan realized he'd underestimated how much work it would actually be. Ava had said a few hours a week. What she'd meant was a few hours every day, plus emergency calls at night when something broke, plus weekend strategy sessions that somehow always ran long. He didn't complain. The money was good, better than good, but it was eating into his time with Mia, and that was starting to show. Dad, you promised we'd go to the park today, Mia said on Saturday morning, standing in the doorway of his bedroom with her arms crossed. Logan looked up from his laptop. He'd been reviewing code since 5:30, trying to find a performance bottleneck that was slowing down Ava's platform. I know, kiddo, just give me 10 more minutes. You said that an hour ago. Did I? Yeah. Mia's voice was small. You say it a lot now. Logan closed the laptop, looked at his daughter. 7 years old and already learning that adults break promises without meaning to. You're right, he said. I'm sorry, let me get dressed. We'll go right now. Mia's face brightened. Really? Really. Go grab your jacket. She ran off. Logan sat there for a moment, staring at the closed laptop. He could hear Ava's voice in his head, the way she'd said his name last night when the server crashed. Logan, I need you. This can't wait. And he dropped everything, spent 4 hours on the phone walking Priya through the fix while Mia ate cereal for dinner and put herself to bed. This was the problem with being good at something. People needed you, and the more they needed you, the less time you had for the people who needed you first. His phone buzzed. Ava. Morning. Can you swing by the office? Investor meeting at 2 and I want to run through the tech roadmap with you first. Logan typed back. Can't. With my daughter today. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Of course. Sorry. Monday then? Monday works. He pocketed the phone and went to find Mia. They spent the day at Golden Gate Park. Mia ran ahead on the trails, pointing out dogs and birds and interesting rocks. Logan followed, letting the work fall away piece by piece until all that was left was this: sunshine, fresh air, his daughter's laughter. "Dad, look!" Mia had found a stick shaped like a sword. She brandished it dramatically. "I'm a knight." "What kind of knight?" "The kind that rescues people." "Who are you rescuing?" Mia thought about it. "You." Logan smiled. "From what?" "From the dragon." She pointed at a tree. "It's right there. Can't you see it?" "Oh no, a dragon! Whatever shall I do?" Mia charged at the tree, whacking it with her stick. "I'll save you! Don't worry!" Logan watched her fight the imaginary dragon with everything she had. When she finally declared victory, she ran back to him, breathless and grinning. "You're safe now," she announced. "My hero," Logan said. They got ice cream on the way home. Real ice cream this time, not frozen yogurt. Mia got chocolate chip. Logan got coffee. They sat on a bench and watched people walk by. "Dad?" Mia said, chocolate smeared on her chin. "Yeah?" "Do you like your new job?" Logan wiped her face with a napkin. "I do." "More than driving?" "Different than driving." "But do you like it more?" Logan considered the question. A month ago, he would have said driving was fine. It paid the bills. It was safe. But now, after 3 weeks of actually using his brain again, of solving real problems that mattered, of being seen as more than just the guy behind the wheel. "Yeah," he said. "I think I do." Mia nodded seriously. "That's good. You smile more now." "Do I?" "Uh-huh. Except when you're on the phone late at night, then you look worried." Logan pulled her close. "I'm not worried, just focused." "What's the difference?" "Worried is when you don't know what to do. Focused is when you're figuring it out." "Oh." Mia licked her ice cream cone. "So you're figuring it out." "I'm trying. You'll get it. You're smart." Logan kissed the top of her head. "So are you." Monday came too fast. Logan dropped Mia at school and headed to Ava's office. He'd been coming in 3 times a week, sitting in on technical meetings, reviewing architecture decisions, helping Priya navigate the chaos of suddenly being in charge. Priya was doing better than Logan had expected. She was nervous, still unsure of herself in front of the team, but she listened well and she didn't pretend to know things she didn't. That was worth more than confidence. When Logan arrived, Ava was in her office on the phone, pacing. She saw him through the glass and waved him in. "I understand your concerns, David, but the timeline hasn't changed," she was saying. "We're still on track for the beta launch in 6 weeks." She listened, her jaw tightened. "Because we have a plan, a good one, and the team to execute it." More listening. "I appreciate that. I'll send over the updated projections this afternoon." She hung up, looked at Logan. "Investors?" he asked. "The worst kind. The ones who want daily updates and panic if you sneeze wrong." Ava dropped into her chair. "David Hartman, the guy from the pitch meeting. He's been calling twice a day since we announced Marcus's departure." "He's nervous." "He's annoying." Ava rubbed her eyes. "Sorry, long weekend." "You work weekends?" "Don't you?" "I try not to anymore." "Must be nice." Logan sat down. "Ava, when's the last time you took a day off?" "Define day off." "A full 24 hours where you don't check email, don't take calls, don't think about the company?" Ava laughed. "That's not a thing that exists in my world." "It should be," says the guy who spent 4 hours on the phone with Priya Friday night fixing a server crash. That was an emergency. So is everything else. That's the problem. Ava leaned back. "I built this company from nothing, Logan. If I stop pushing, even for a day, it all falls apart." "That's not true." "Isn't it?" "You saw what Marcus did. One person with bad intentions nearly destroyed everything I'd worked for. What happens if I'm not here to catch the next crisis?" Logan was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "You hire people you trust and you let them do their jobs. That's what happens." "I do trust people." "Do you? Because from where I'm sitting, you're still trying to do everything yourself." Ava's expression hardened. "That's not fair." "Maybe not, but it's true." Logan leaned forward. "Priya's good, really good, but you're still second-guessing every decision she makes. You're in every technical meeting, reviewing every line of code, micromanaging every detail. She can't grow if you don't give her room." "I'm not micromanaging. I'm being thorough." "You're being scared." Ava stood up. You don't know what you're talking about. Don't I? Logan stood too. You hired me because I saw things clearly, because I wasn't afraid to tell you the truth. So here's the truth. You're burning out. And if you don't step back, you're going to take the whole company down with you. The office went silent. Ava stared at him, her face flushed with anger, or maybe shame. Logan couldn't tell. Get out, she said quietly. Ava? I said get out. Logan left. He spent the rest of the day doing rideshare pickups, falling back into the rhythm of driving. It was easier, simpler. No one yelled at you for telling them things they didn't want to hear. By evening, he'd almost convinced himself he didn't care, that Ava could run her company into the ground for all it mattered to him. He'd tried to help. She didn't want it. Fine, except it wasn't fine. Because somewhere over the past 3 weeks, he'd started to care. About the company. About Priya and Chloe and the rest of the team. About Ava, who worked harder than anyone he'd ever met and still thought it wasn't enough. His phone rang at 9:30 that night. Unknown number. Hello? It's me. Ava's voice, tired, strained. Don't hang up. Logan sat down on his couch. I'm listening. You were right about all of it. She took a shaky breath. I've been in the office since 6 this morning. It's almost 10. I haven't eaten. I can't remember the last time I slept more than 4 hours. And I just realized I have no idea what I'm doing anymore. Logan waited. I'm scared, Logan, Ava said quietly. I'm terrified that if I let go even for a second, everything will fall apart. Because it almost did. Marcus almost destroyed everything, and I didn't see it coming. I trusted him, and I was wrong, and now I don't know who to trust. You can trust Priya. I know. Intellectually, I know. But every time she makes a decision without me, I panic. What if she's wrong? What if she misses something? What if What if she's better at this than Marcus ever was, and you're the only thing standing in her way? Ava laughed, but it came out broken. You don't pull punches, do you? Not my style. I noticed. She was quiet for a moment. I'm sorry for kicking you out. You were trying to help. I was being harsh. You were being honest. There's a difference. Logan thought about Mia, about the way she'd looked at him in the park. You smile more now. About the balance he was trying to find between the life he'd built and the one that was opening up in front of him. You want to know what I think? He said. Always. I think you need to go home, eat something, sleep, and tomorrow you need to tell Priya she's in charge of the beta launch, completely. No oversight, no second guessing, just trust her to do it. I can't do that. You can. You just don't want to. What if she fails? What if she doesn't? Ava was silent. Look, Logan said. I get it. I'm a single dad. If I screw up, my daughter pays the price. So I control everything I can because that's the only way I know how to keep her safe. But you know what I'm learning? Control is an illusion. Bad things happen anyway. The only real choice is whether you face them alone or with people you trust. When did you get so wise? Ava asked. I'm not wise. I'm just tired of being scared all the time. Yeah, me too. Logan heard something in her voice. Something raw and honest that she usually kept locked away. Go home, Ava, he said gently. Okay. She paused. Will you come in tomorrow? I want to talk about where we go from here. I'll be there. Thank you for not giving up on me. I don't give up easy. After they hung up, Logan sat in the dark apartment for a long time. Mia was asleep. The building was quiet. And Logan was thinking about the moment when a person decides to stop protecting themselves and start trusting someone else. How terrifying it was. How necessary. The next morning, he walked into Ava's office at 9. She was already there, but she looked different. Rested. Calm. I went home, she said. Slept 8 hours. It was weird. Logan smiled. Probably felt good, though. Like a miracle. She gestured to a chair. Sit. I want to show you something. She pulled up an email on her screen. From David Hartman. Ava, I wanted to follow up on our conversation yesterday. After reviewing the updated technical roadmap and speaking with your team, I'm confident in the direction you're taking. Priya impressed me. So did your technical advisor. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. We're in for the long haul. Logan looked at Ava. You sent him to Priya? I set up a call. Told him she could answer his questions better than I could. Walked away and let her handle it. Ava's voice was thick with something Logan couldn't quite name. Pride, maybe. Or relief. She was brilliant, answered everything. Didn't need me at all. How'd that feel? Terrifying. Ava smiled. And amazing. Good. There's something else. Ava closed the laptop. I've been thinking about what you said. About trust. About letting people do their jobs. And I realized I've been treating you like a contractor when what I really need is a partner. Logan frowned. What does that mean? It means I want to offer you a real position, not consulting, director of technical strategy, equity, benefits, the whole thing. You'd work directly with me and Priya to build the future of this company. Logan sat back. Ava, I know what you're going to say. You have a daughter. You need flexibility. I get it. We'll make it work. Remote when you need it. Flexible hours. Whatever it takes. She leaned forward. I need you, Logan. Not just your skills, you. The way you see things. The way you cut through the noise and find the truth. I can't do this without that. Logan looked at her. This woman who'd been a stranger 6 weeks ago, who'd climbed into his car desperate and afraid, and had somehow pulled him into a world he'd stopped believing he could be part of. I need to think about it, he said. Take all the time you need. But even as he said it, Logan knew the answer, had known it since the moment Ava called him last night, vulnerable and honest and willing to change. He went home that afternoon and sat Mia down at the kitchen table. I need to talk to you about something, he said. Mia looked up from her homework. Am I in trouble? No, kiddo, nothing like that. Logan took a breath. You know how I've been working with that company? Helping them with computer stuff? Yeah. They want me to work there full time, like a real job, not driving anymore. Mia's eyes went wide. Really? Really? But it would mean some changes. I'd be working more regular hours, but also some nights and weekends when things get busy. We'd have more money, which is good, but I'd need help, a babysitter sometimes, maybe after school care. Would you be happy? Mia asked. The question caught Logan off guard. What? Would it make you happy? The job? Logan thought about it, about the way it felt to solve a hard problem, to be part of something bigger than himself, to use his brain in ways he'd forgotten he could. Yeah, he said, I think it would. Mia nodded seriously. Then you should do it. Just like that? Just like that. She went back to her homework. Besides, you already smell better. Logan laughed. What's that supposed to mean? You used to smell like car air freshener. Now you just smell like coffee. She looked up, grinning. Coffee's better. Logan pulled her into a hug. When did you get so smart? I've always been smart. You just noticed. The next day, Logan walked into Ava's office and said yes. They shook hands. Ava's grip was firm and warm and full of relief. You won't regret this, she said. I better not. I just quit my other job. You'll be great. I know it. Logan wasn't sure he believed her, but he wanted to. That had to count for something. The first 2 weeks in his new role were chaos. Logan had forgotten what it was like to work in an office, to have meetings that ran long and emails that never stopped and people who needed him for 1,000 different things. But he also remembered what it was like to be part of a team, to build something with other people who cared as much as he did, to go home at the end of the day exhausted but satisfied instead of just exhausted. Mia adjusted faster than he did. She liked the new babysitter, a college student named Sophie, who actually played with her instead of just staring at her phone. She liked that Logan seemed less stressed, even when he was busy. And she really liked the new apartment they moved into after Logan's first paycheck cleared, the one with the elevator that worked and the second bedroom that was all hers. This is the best room ever, Mia declared, spinning in circles in the empty space. It's just a room, Logan said. No, it's my room. That's different. Logan leaned against the doorframe, watching her, thinking about how far they'd come in just 2 months, how much had changed. His phone buzzed. Ava, crisis. Need you at the office, now. Logan's stomach dropped. Mia, I have to go to work. Right now? Right now. Sophie's on her way. Mia's face fell. But we were going to paint my room today. I know, I'm sorry. Tomorrow, okay? I promise. He called Sophie, waited until she arrived, then drove to the office going 20 over the limit. When he got there, Ava was in the conference room with Priya, Chloe, and three people Logan didn't recognize. Everyone looked grim. What happened? Logan asked. Ava gestured to one of the strangers, a thin man in an expensive suit. This is Richard Voss. He represents TechCore Industries. Logan knew the name. TechCore was a massive corporation that specialized in buying small tech companies, gutting them, and absorbing whatever was profitable. Mr. Voss has made us an offer, Ava continued. Her voice was flat, carefully controlled. $50 million for full acquisition. They want an answer by Friday. Logan looked at her. That's 3 days from now. I know. And you're considering it? I'm considering everything. Ava's hands were shaking. She clasped them together. That's why you're here. I need your opinion. Richard Voss smiled. It was the kind of smile sharks probably practiced in mirrors. Ms. Sinclair has built an impressive product. TechCore sees great potential. With our resources and reach, we could scale this operation globally within a year. What happens to the team? Logan asked. Key personnel would be retained for a transitional period. How long is transitional? 6 months? Maybe a year? And after that? Voss's smile didn't waver. That would depend on performance and fit within our organizational structure. Logan turned to Ava. Can we talk? Privately? They went to her office. Ava closed the door and leaned against it. $50 million, Logan, she said quietly. Do you know what I could do with that? I know what they'll do with your company. It's a good offer. It's a trap. Ava's eyes flashed. You don't know that. Yes, I do. I've seen this before. They buy you out, keep you around long enough to smooth the transition, then they dismantle everything that made the company special. Priya will be gone within 6 months. So will everyone else who actually cares, and your product will get absorbed into some bloated enterprise system that barely works. Or it'll reach millions of users instead of thousands. Or it'll actually make a difference instead of just being another startup that runs out of money and dies. Logan stared at her. You're serious. You're actually thinking about selling. I'm thinking about being smart, about taking the win while I can. Ava's voice cracked. I'm exhausted, Logan. I've been fighting for 3 years. Maybe it's time to stop. This isn't you talking. This is fear. Maybe fear is just reality catching up. Logan stepped closer. What happened to the woman who stood in front of investors and accused her CTO of sabotage? Who promoted a 26-year-old to run her tech department because it was the right call? Who told me that if you're not willing to bet on yourself, no one else will either? That woman is tired. That woman is stronger than she thinks. Ava looked at him, and Logan saw it. The moment where she was deciding whether to keep fighting or let go, whether to trust herself or the safety of someone else's money. What if we fail? She whispered. What if we don't? That's not an answer. It's the only answer that matters. Ava closed her eyes, took a long, shaky breath. When she opened them again, something had shifted. I need you to do something for me, she said. What? Go back in there, look Richard Voss in the eye, and tell me if you think he's making this offer because he wants to help us or because he wants to eliminate competition. Logan went back to the conference room, sat down across from Voss. Tell me about TechCore's product roadmap, Logan said. Voss blinked. I'm sorry? Your product, the one that competes with Ava's. Where's it headed in the next 12 months? I'm not sure I understand the relevance. Humor me. Voss's smile tightened. We're expanding into enterprise solutions, focusing on B2B integration and scalable infrastructure. And Ava's platform? Where does that fit? It would complement our existing offerings. Or replace them, Logan said. Because from what I can see, her product does everything yours does, but better, faster, cleaner. You're not buying her company to scale it, you're buying it to kill it. The room went silent. Voss's smile vanished. That's quite an accusation. Is it wrong? Voss stood up, buttoned his jacket. I think we're done here. Ms. Sinclair, you have until Friday. After that, the offer expires. He left, his colleagues trailing behind him. Logan turned to Ava. She was standing in the doorway, arms crossed, watching him. Well, Logan said, you're right. He wanted to eliminate competition. She smiled, and it was fierce. So we're not selling. You're sure? I'm sure. Ava walked to the head of the table. We're going to build this thing the right way. No shortcuts, no easy exits. And if we fail, at least we'll fail on our own terms. Priya let out a breath. Thank God. I was really not looking forward to working for TechCore. Chloe laughed. Same. Logan looked around the room. At this team that had somehow become his team. At this company that had somehow become his purpose. All right then, he said. Let's get to work. And they did. The beta launch was scheduled for a Tuesday in late October. 6 weeks of brutal work, late nights, and more coffee than any human body should reasonably consume. Logan had stopped counting the hours he spent at the office. It was easier that way. Mia was getting used to Sophie being around more. She didn't complain anymore when Logan said he had to work late, just asked if he'd be home to say goodnight. Sometimes he was. Sometimes he wasn't. The guilt sat heavy in his chest every time he missed bedtime. But Ava needed him. The team needed him. And for the first time in years, Logan was good at something that mattered to more than just him and his daughter. That was worth something, wasn't it? The night before launch, Logan was in the office at midnight with Priya, running final tests on the system. Everything looked good. Everything had looked good for 3 days straight, but neither of them could shake the feeling that they were missing something. We should go home, Priya said, rubbing her eyes. Get some sleep. Come back fresh. You go. I want to run through the authentication flow one more time. Logan, you've checked it 6 times already. 7 won't hurt. Priya stood up, stretched. You know what Ava said about burnout, right? About how we're supposed to take care of ourselves? Ava says a lot of things. And you don't listen to any of them. Priya grabbed her bag. I'm leaving. You should too. Soon. That's what you said 3 hours ago. Logan waved her off. I'm fine. Go. After Priya left, the office felt bigger, quieter. Just Logan and the glow of his monitor and the hum of the servers in the back room. He ran the authentication test again. Log in, verify, access granted, clean, perfect. Too perfect. Logan frowned. Ran it again. Same result. He checked the logs. Everything processed exactly as it should. No delays, no errors, no variation in response time, no variation at all. That was wrong. Every system had variation. Network latency, server load, tiny fluctuations in processing time. It was natural, expected. But this was too consistent, like someone had smoothed out all the rough edges. Logan pulled up the server monitoring dashboard. CPU usage was normal. Memory was normal. Network traffic was normal. Everything was normal. He opened the code repository, started scanning through recent commits. Most of it was Priya's work, clean and well documented. A few contributions from other team members. Nothing unusual. Then he saw it. A commit from 4 days ago, late at night. A minor change to the authentication middleware, buried in a routine update. The commit message was generic. Performance optimization. Logan clicked on it. The change was small. Elegant, even. It redirected a tiny percentage of authentication requests through a secondary validation server. Barely noticeable. The kind of thing that could pass code review without raising flags because it looked like exactly what the commit message claimed it was. Except Logan recognized the pattern. He'd seen it before. In Marcus's code. His blood went cold. Logan checked the commit author. It was tagged under a generic system account, not a personal one. The kind of account that multiple people could access for automated processes. He pulled up the access logs for that account. 3 people had credentials. Priya, Chloe, and one other name Logan didn't recognize. Kevin Zhao, junior developer. Hired 2 months ago, right after Marcus left. Logan opened Slack, searched for Kevin's name. Found his employee profile. 24 years old, recent grad from UC Berkeley. Worked at a startup that had been acquired by TechCore Industries 6 months ago. TechCore. Richard Voss's company. Logan's hands were shaking now. He pulled up Kevin's commit history. Dozens of small changes over the past 2 months, all routine, all innocent looking. But when Logan started examining them closely, he found it. A pattern. Tiny modifications spread across different parts of the codebase, each one meaningless on its own. But together they formed something bigger. A back door. carefully constructed, almost invisible. And tomorrow, when they launched, when thousands of users started logging in, that backdoor would activate, siphoning data, user credentials, financial information, everything, straight to TechCore. Logan grabbed his phone, called Ava. It rang 4 times before she answered, her voice thick with sleep. "Logan, what time is it?" "We have a problem." "What kind of problem?" "The kind that could destroy us. I need you at the office. Now." "I'm on my way." Ava arrived 20 minutes later, her hair still wet from a hasty shower, wearing jeans and a sweatshirt Logan had never seen her in before. She looked younger like this, more vulnerable. Logan showed her everything, the commits, the back door, Kevin's connection to TechCore. Ava's face went pale. "They planted him. When we rejected their offer, they planted someone inside our company." "Looks like it." "How did we miss this?" "We vetted him. Priya interviewed him personally. His resume was probably real, his references too. TechCore's good at this. They knew we'd need to hire fast after Marcus left. They positioned someone who looked perfect, and waited." Ava sat down hard. "We launch in 9 hours." "I know. Can we remove it? The back door?" "We can, but it'll take time. And if Kevin realizes we're onto him, he might have a kill switch, something that crashes the whole system." "So what do we do?" Logan thought about it, about Marcus, about the way he'd tried to sabotage them from the inside, about Richard Voss and his shark smile, about how people with power always thought they could take what they wanted from people who had less. "We let it happen," Logan said. Ava stared at him. "What?" "We let the back door activate. Let them think they've won. And while they're congratulating themselves, we trace exactly where the data's going and document everything. Then we burn them. That's insane. If we let user data get stolen, even for a minute, we're finished. No one will ever trust us again." "Not user data. Fake data." Logan was already typing, pulling up the test environment. "We create a fake user base. Thousands of accounts with realistic-looking information, all completely fabricated. We route the backdoor to that instead of production. They get what they want, except none of it's real." "And then?" "Then we have proof. Hard evidence of corporate espionage. We go to the police, the press, the investors. We make sure everyone knows what TechCore tried to do." Ava was quiet for a long moment. Then she said, "That's actually brilliant. It's risky. Everything worth doing is." They worked through the night. By 6 in the morning, they'd built an entire fake user ecosystem, complete with transaction histories, login patterns, and behavioral data that looked completely legitimate. They redirected the backdoor to point at this shadow database instead of the real one. At 7, Priya arrived. Her eyes went wide when she saw them. "Have you two been here all night?" "Kevin's a plant," Ava said without preamble. "TechCore put him here to steal our data." Priya's coffee cup froze halfway to her mouth. "You're joking." "I wish," Logan showed her the evidence. Priya's face went through several emotions in rapid succession. Shock, anger, betrayal, then finally cold determination. "What do we need to do?" "Act normal," Ava said. "The launch proceeds as planned. We don't let Kevin know we're onto him, and we watch." The rest of the team started arriving around 8. Kevin came in at 8:30, headphones on, looking relaxed and cheerful. He waved at Logan, who forced himself to wave back. The launch went live at 10 a.m. sharp. Priya pushed the button, and just like that, their product was available to the world. For the first hour, everything was quiet. A few early adopters signed up, clicked around, provided feedback. Normal launch day stuff. Then the numbers started climbing. 10 users, 50, 200. By noon, they had over 1,000 signups. And in the background, invisible to everyone except Logan, Ava, and Priya, the backdoor activated. Data started flowing out through Kevin's carefully constructed pipeline. Fake data. All of it. Logan watched the logs, tracking where it went. Through 3 proxy servers, 2 VPN endpoints, and finally to a server registered to a shell company in Delaware. It took him 20 minutes to trace the ownership structure, but when he did, it led straight back to TechCore Industries. "Got it," he said quietly to Ava. She was standing behind him, watching over his shoulder. "You're sure?" "Completely. This is enough to prosecute. At 2 p.m., with the launch still going strong and the office buzzing with celebration, Ava called everyone into the conference room. Kevin came in last, still wearing his headphones, looking pleased with himself. "First, I want to say thank you," Ava began. "You've all worked incredibly hard to make this happen. This launch is a success because of you." The team clapped, exchanged high fives. Kevin clapped too. "However," Ava continued, and the room went quiet, "we've discovered a security issue that needs to be addressed immediately." Kevin's expression didn't change, but Logan saw his jaw tighten. Just barely. "Logan, if you could walk everyone through what we found," Ava said. Logan stood up, pulled up his laptop screen on the projector. "Last night, I noticed some anomalies in our authentication system. After investigating, I found evidence of a sophisticated backdoor planted in our code base." He showed the commits, the data flow, the server trail. This backdoor was designed to steal user data and send it to an external party, specifically to TechCore Industries. Priya gasped. Chloe's hand flew to her mouth. Kevin sat very still. "The commits," Logan continued, "were made using a shared system account, but they originated from a specific IP address." He clicked to the next slide. Kevin Zhao's home network. Every head in the room turned toward Kevin. He smiled. Actually smiled. "That's quite an accusation. You have any proof?" "We have logs, timestamps, video from the office security system showing you here late at night when several of these commits were made." Logan's voice was calm, clinical. "And we have the data trail leading directly to TechCore." Kevin leaned back in his chair. "You can't prove I knew about any of this. Maybe someone hacked my computer, used my network without my knowledge." "Maybe," Ava said. "Except we also have this." She played a recording, audio from a phone call, timestamp from 2 weeks ago. Kevin's voice, clear as day, talking to someone at TechCore. "The system's ready. Launch day, everything goes live. You'll have full access to their entire user base." The voice on the other end, "Excellent work. Mr. Voss will be pleased." Kevin's smile vanished. "We have a lot more where that came from," Ava said quietly. "Emails, Slack messages you thought you deleted, financial records showing payments from TechCore to your personal account. You want me to keep going?" Kevin stood up. You're bluffing. Try me." He looked at Logan. "You think you're so smart, but you have no idea what you've done. TechCore will bury you. They'll drag you through court for years. By the time they're done, your company will be worthless. Or," Logan said, "they'll be too busy dealing with federal charges for corporate espionage to worry about us." Kevin's face went white. "You went to the feds?" "Not yet, but we will. Right after we go to the press." Ava crossed her arms. "You have two choices. You can walk out of here quietly, and we'll settle this with TechCore directly. Or you can make a scene, and we'll make sure everyone knows exactly what you tried to do here. Your career will be over before lunch." Kevin looked around the room. At the team members staring at him with a mixture of anger and disgust. At Ava's cold expression. At Logan's unwavering gaze. He grabbed his bag and left without another word. The door closed behind him. The room stayed silent for a long moment. Then Priya said, "Holy shit." "Yeah," Ava said. "That about sums it up." Chloe raised her hand. "So, did they actually steal any data?" "No," Logan said. "We fed them fake information. They think they have our user base, but it's all fabricated." Priya started laughing. "That's amazing. They're going to try to use that data, and it's going to be completely worthless." "Exactly," Ava smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. She looked exhausted. "All right, everyone, back to work. We still have a product to support." The team filed out, buzzing with energy and disbelief. Logan started to follow, but Ava caught his arm. "Wait." He turned. "Thank you," she said. "If you hadn't caught that, but I did." "No, listen. You saved this company. Again. And I—" She stopped, struggling with words. "I don't know how to repay that." Logan thought about his apartment, about Mia's new room, about the life that was finally starting to feel stable, about the fact that 3 months ago he'd been a rideshare driver with no prospects, and now he was standing in an office he partly owned, having just stopped a corporate espionage attempt. "You already did," he said. "You gave me a chance when I was nobody. That's enough. You were never nobody. I felt like it. Ava stepped closer. You're not, though. She hesitated. You're the best decision I ever made. Something shifted in the space between them. Logan felt it, this pull that had been building for weeks, and that he'd been deliberately ignoring because mixing work and whatever this was seemed like a disaster waiting to happen. Ava felt it too. He could see it in the way she looked at him, in the way she didn't step back. Ava, he started. His phone rang. Mia's school. Logan answered. Hello? Mr. Reed, this is Principal Davidson. Mia's fine, but there was an incident at recess. Another child pushed her off the swing set. She has some scrapes and she's pretty upset. Can you come pick her up? Logan's stomach dropped. I'm on my way. He hung up, looked at Ava. I have to go. Is everything okay? Mia got hurt at school. I need to get her. Go. Of course. Do you need anything? No, Logan grabbed his jacket. I'll check in later. He was out the door before Ava could respond. The drive to Mia's school felt like it took hours. When he finally got there, he found her in the nurse's office, sitting on the examination table with bandages on both knees and tear tracks on her face. Dad! She launched herself at him. Logan caught her, held her tight. Hey, kiddo, you okay? Tyler pushed me. He said I was hogging the swing. Did you tell a teacher? Yeah, he got in trouble, but my knees hurt. Logan inspected the bandages. The scrapes looked superficial, nothing serious. But Mia's eyes were red and swollen from crying, and she looked smaller than usual. Let's go home, he said. They stopped for ice cream on the way. Mia got chocolate chip again, her safe choice. Logan got nothing, just watched her eat and tried to ignore the knot of guilt in his chest. Dad? Mia said, chocolate on her chin again. Yeah? You're here. Of course I'm here. Where else would I be? Work. You're always at work now. The words hit harder than they should have. Logan wiped her chin with a napkin. I'm sorry. I know I've been busy. It's okay. Sophie's nice, but... Mia looked down at her ice cream. I miss you. Logan felt something crack inside his chest. I miss you too. Then why are you always gone? Because I'm trying to build something good, for us, so we can have nice things and not worry about money. Mia looked up at him with those big, serious eyes. I don't care about nice things. I just want you. Logan pulled her close, breathed in the smell of her shampoo, the sticky sweetness of chocolate ice cream, the simple reality of his daughter who needed him more than any company ever could. You're right, he said quietly. You're absolutely right. That evening, after Mia was in bed, Logan sat on his couch and thought about the choices he'd made over the past 3 months, the opportunities he'd seized, the time he'd sacrificed, the balance he'd promised himself he'd maintain and had slowly let slip away. His phone buzzed, a text from Ava. Is Mia okay? Logan typed back, she's fine, just scraped knees. Good. Take tomorrow off. Spend it with her. I should be there. We need to deal with TechCore. I can handle TechCore. You need to handle being a dad. That's more important. Logan stared at the message, then typed, Thank you. Don't thank me. Just be there for her. He set the phone down, looked around his new apartment, at the life he'd built, at the success he'd finally achieved, and he wondered what the hell it was all worth if he lost his daughter in the process. The next morning, Logan made pancakes, real ones, from scratch, not the frozen kind they usually had. Mia came out of her room rubbing her eyes, stopped when she saw the table. What's happening? Breakfast, and then we're spending the whole day together, whatever you want to do. Mia's face lit up. Really? Really. No work, no phone calls, just us. They went to the aquarium. Mia pressed her face against the glass of the jellyfish tank, watching them pulse and drift. Logan stood behind her, his hand on her shoulder, and tried to remember the last time he'd just stopped and paid attention. They're so weird, Mia said. Pretty, though. Yeah. She looked up at him. Dad, are you okay? Why do you ask? You look sad. Logan crouched down to her level. I'm not sad. I'm just thinking. About what? About how I need to be better at this, at being here with you. Mia threw her arms around his neck. You're already good at it. Logan held her tight, the small person who loved him unconditionally, who didn't care about his job title or his bank account or any of the things he'd been killing himself to achieve. I love you, kiddo, he said. I love you too, Dad. They stayed at the aquarium until it closed, got pizza for dinner, watched a movie at home, Mia curled against his side, falling asleep before the ending. Logan carried her to bed, tucked her in, watched her sleep for a moment. Then he went to his laptop and opened his email. There was a message from Ava. Subject line, TechCore settlement. He opened it. Logan, lawyers met with TechCore today. They're offering a settlement, $10 million, public apology, and they drop Kevin Zhao immediately. In exchange, we don't press charges or go public. I'm inclined to take it. Thoughts? Logan thought about it, about the satisfaction of watching TechCore burn, about the risks of a prolonged legal battle, about what really mattered. He typed, "Take it, let's move forward." Ava's response came seconds later. Agreed. See you Monday? Logan looked at the screen, at the calendar showing his schedule for next week. Meeting after meeting, deadline after deadline, obligations stretching out into infinity. He typed, "Actually, I need to talk to you about something. Can we meet this weekend?" "Sure. Everything okay?" "Yeah, just need to figure some things out." "Okay. Saturday lunch?" Saturday lunch. Logan closed the laptop and sat in the dark apartment, listening to Mia breathe in the next room, and tried to figure out how to have everything he wanted without losing everything that mattered. Saturday came with fog rolling in off the bay, the kind of gray morning that made the city feel smaller and quieter than it actually was. Logan dropped Mia at Sophie's place for a few hours, promising they'd go to the park later, and drove to the cafe where he'd first had lunch with Ava all those months ago. She was already there, sitting at the same corner table, 2 coffees waiting. She looked tired. Not the exhausted kind of tired from working too hard, but something deeper, the kind that came from carrying weight too long. Logan sat down. "Thanks for meeting me." "Of course." Ava pushed one of the coffees toward him. "You sounded serious on the phone." "I need to make some changes," Logan said. No preamble, no easing into it. To my role, to my hours, to how this whole thing works. Ava's expression didn't change, but something flickered in her eyes. "Okay. What kind of changes?" "I can't do 60-hour weeks anymore. I've been telling myself I could balance it, but I can't. Mia needs me. And I've been choosing work over her too many times." Logan wrapped his hands around the coffee mug. "I'm not quitting, but I need real boundaries, actual work-life balance, not just the idea of it." Ava was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "Is this about Thursday, when Mia got hurt?" "It's about every day since I started. About missing bedtime and canceling plans and being physically present, but mentally at the office." Logan met her eyes. "I thought I could have it all. The meaningful work, the financial security, the time with my daughter. But something has to give, and it can't be her." "What do you need?" Ava asked. 30 hours a week, maximum. Hard stop at 5 p.m. unless it's a genuine emergency. No weekend work. And I need to work from home twice a week so I can be there when Mia gets out of school." "Done." Logan blinked. "Just like that?" "Just like that." Ava took a sip of her coffee. "You think I haven't noticed you burning out? I've been waiting for you to say something. You could have said something first." "I could have, but I needed you to realize it yourself." She set down her cup. "Here's the thing about building a company, Logan. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking it all depends on you, that if you stop pushing, everything falls apart. I did that for 3 years, worked myself to exhaustion, almost sold the company because I was too tired to keep fighting. And then you didn't, because you reminded me that I didn't have to do it alone. That trust isn't a weakness." Ava leaned forward. "So, here's me returning the favor. You don't have to choose between being a good father and being valuable to this company. You can be both, but only if you actually set boundaries and stick to them." Logan felt something loosen in his chest. "I was expecting a fight." Why?" "Because I'm a demanding boss who doesn't understand work-life balance?" Ava smiled, but it was tinged with sadness. "I'm not a monster, Logan. I'm just someone who learned the hard way that success doesn't mean anything if you lose yourself getting there." "So we're good?" "We're better than good. We're going to figure this out, together." She pulled out her laptop. "Now let's talk about how we actually make this work without you feeling guilty and me feeling like I'm losing my right hand." They spent the next hour mapping it out. Logan would shift to a strategic advisory role. Less day-to-day management and more high-level problem solving. Priya would take on more leadership responsibility, which she was ready for anyway. They'd hire another senior engineer to fill the gaps. By the time they finished, Logan felt lighter than he had in weeks. "There's something else," Ava said as they were packing up. "Something I need to tell you." "Okay." The TechCore settlement came through yesterday. $10 million signed and delivered. She paused. "I'm using part of it to create an employee equity pool. Everyone on the team is getting shares, including you." "Ava, you don't have to, I'm not doing it because I have to. I'm doing it because it's right. You saved this company twice. You deserve to own part of it." She handed him an envelope. "Your offer letter. New title, new compensation structure, equity package. Look it over. Let me know if you have questions." Logan opened the envelope. The numbers made his head spin. "This is too much," he said. "It's exactly right." Ava stood up. "You showed up when it mattered, Logan. More than once. That's worth more than money can measure. But money's what I have to give, so take it." Logan looked at her, this woman who'd been a stranger 6 months ago and who'd somehow become one of the most important people in his life, who'd given him a chance when no one else would, who'd seen something in him that he'd stopped seeing in himself. "Thank you," he said quietly, "for everything." "Thank me by being happy," Ava said, "by being present for your daughter, by remembering that you're allowed to have a life outside of work." She smiled. "That's what I'm trying to learn too." They walked out together into the gray morning. At the curb, Ava paused. "Can I ask you something?" she said. "Sure." "That first day, when you picked me up, why did you help me? You could have just dropped me off and driven away. Why didn't you?" Logan thought about it. About the woman who'd climbed into his car, panicked and desperate. About the choice he'd made to look at her tablet instead of minding his own business. "Because I knew what it felt like," he said, "to be drowning and have no one notice. And I didn't want you to feel that way." Ava's eyes were bright. She blinked rapidly, cleared her throat. "Well, I'm glad you were the one who showed up that morning." "Me too." She got in her car and drove away. Logan stood there for a moment, watching the fog drift through the streets, thinking about the strange way life worked sometimes. How one decision, one small act of paying attention could change everything. He picked up Mia from Sophie's and they went to the park like he'd promised. Mia ran straight for the swings, the same one she'd been pushed off of days before. Logan's instinct was to tell her to be careful, to choose something safer, but he held back. Let her climb on, let her pump her legs and fly higher, laughing. "Dad, watch," she called out. "I'm going so high." Logan watched. Really watched. Not checking his phone, not thinking about work, not mentally running through tomorrow's schedule. Just being there, in that moment, with his daughter. When she finally tired herself out, she came and sat next to him on the bench. "That was fun," she said, breathing hard. "You were flying." "Almost." She leaned against him. "Dad?" "Yeah, kiddo?" "Are you happy now?" The question caught him off guard. "What do you mean? You seemed sad for a while, but today you seem different. Lighter." Logan put his arm around her. "Yeah, I think I am happy. Or getting there anyway." "Good. Because when you're happy, I'm happy." Logan kissed the top of her head. "Works both ways." They sat there as the fog started to burn off, and the afternoon sun broke through. Other families arrived at the park. Kids running and shouting, parents calling after them with that mixture of exasperation and love that Logan knew all too well. This was it, he thought. This was what mattered. Not the title on his business card or the number in his bank account or the fancy apartment. Just this. Being present. Being enough. Monday morning, Logan walked into the office at 9 instead of 7. The team was already there, gathered in the common area, and when he entered, Priya started clapping. Everyone joined in. Logan stopped, confused. "What's this about?" "Ava told us," Chloe said. "About the equity pool. About what you did to make it happen." "I didn't do anything. That was all Ava." "That's not what she said." Priya stepped forward. "She told us you convinced her to turn down the TechCore buyout, that you helped her see what this company could be instead of just what it was worth. She would have figured it out herself." "Maybe. But you were there when she needed someone to believe in her." Priya held out her hand. "Thank you." for giving a 26-year-old with no management experience a shot at running engineering, for trusting me when you barely knew me. Logan shook her hand. You earned it. We all earned it, Ava said, appearing from her office. Because we showed up for each other. That's what makes this work. She'd brought bagels and coffee, the good kind from the place down the street. The team gathered around, eating and talking, and for the first time since Logan had started working there, it felt less like a company and more like a family. The kind you chose. The kind that chose you back. Over the next few months, things settled into a new rhythm. Logan kept his hours, protected his boundaries, and discovered that the company didn't fall apart without him there every second. Priya grew into her role as CTO, making decisions that were sometimes better than the ones Logan would have made. Ava learned to delegate, to trust, to let go of control without losing her grip on the vision. The product grew, users multiplied, revenue climbed. Investors who'd been skeptical after the Marcus incident came back, impressed by the stability and growth. Ava started getting acquisition offers again, bigger ones this time, but she turned them all down without hesitation. I'm not building this to sell it, she told Logan over lunch one day. I'm building it to last. Good, Logan said, because I'd hate to have to find another job. Ava laughed. You're stuck with me now. Hope you're okay with that. Logan thought about it. About the rideshare driver he'd been 6 months ago, invisible and exhausted and convinced his best days were behind him. About the person he'd become, the life he'd built, the future that was finally starting to look like something worth reaching for. Yeah, he said, I'm okay with that. 3 weeks before Christmas, the company hit a major milestone. 1 million active users. The team celebrated with champagne and pizza, an odd combination that somehow felt perfect. Ava made a speech about gratitude and perseverance and the power of showing up when it mattered most. Logan stood in the back, watching. Mia was there too, brought in by Sophie after school let out. She was sitting on a desk, swinging her legs, eating pizza, and looking around at all the adults acting silly. Is this your office? She asked Logan. Part of it, yeah. It's nice. Everyone seems happy. They are. We are. Because of you? Logan crouched down to her level. Because of all of us. Because we decided to trust each other and work together instead of trying to do everything alone. Mia nodded seriously, like this made perfect sense. Like a team. Exactly like a team. Ava came over, champagne glass in hand. Hi, Mia. I've heard so much about you. Mia looked up at her. Are you Dad's boss? More like his partner. We work together. Oh, he talks about you a lot. Logan felt his face heat up. Mia, it's true, you do. Mia turned back to Ava. He says you're really smart and sometimes stubborn, but in a good way. Ava burst out laughing. Well, he's not wrong. And he said you gave him a chance when nobody else would. Ava's smile softened. I gave him a chance? He's the one who made it count. She looked at Logan as she said it, and something passed between them. Understanding, maybe, or recognition of how far they'd both come from that first desperate morning in his car. Later, after most people had left and Mia had fallen asleep on the couch in Ava's office, Logan and Ava stood by the window looking out at the city lights. I've been thinking, Ava said, about that day when you picked me up, about how random it was, how easily I could have gotten a different driver and none of this would have happened. But you didn't. No, I got you, and you saw something wrong and decided to help instead of just doing your job and moving on. She turned to look at him. Why do you think that is? Logan considered the question. I think we see what we're looking for. And that morning, I was looking for something that mattered. I'd been invisible for so long that when someone actually needed me, really needed me, I couldn't just walk away. You could have. Most people would have. Maybe. But I'm not most people. Neither are you. Logan leaned against the window. We're the ones who show up. Even when it's hard, even when we're scared, we show up anyway. Ava smiled. Is that what we are? I think so. They stood there in comfortable silence, watching the city breathe below them. Somewhere down there, Logan thought, there were other people having moments like this, making choices that would change their lives without knowing it yet, showing up for strangers who might become something more. It was a good thought, a hopeful one. Mia stirred on the couch, mumbled something in her sleep. Logan went over, gathered her up carefully. She was getting too big for this, would probably be mortified if she knew he was carrying her, but for now she just tucked her head against his shoulder and kept sleeping. I should get her home, Logan said quietly. Of course. Ava walked them to the elevator. Logan? Yeah? Thank you for being exactly who you are, for not changing just because circumstances did. Logan shifted Mia's weight, thought about all the ways he had changed over the past 6 months, the confidence he'd regained, the purpose he'd rediscovered, the balance he was still learning to maintain. I did change, he said, but maybe that's okay. Maybe we're supposed to. As long as the important parts stay the same. The important parts always do. The elevator arrived. Logan stepped in, Mia still sleeping in his arms. As the doors closed, he saw Ava standing there, alone in her successful company at the end of a long day, and he thought about how success looked different than people expected, how it was less about what you achieved and more about who you became getting there. At home, Logan tucked Mia into bed. She woke up just enough to mumble, "Love you, Dad." "Love you too, kiddo." He went to his own room, lay down in the dark, and thought about the journey that had brought him here. From driving strangers around the city to standing in a conference room celebrating 1 million users. From feeling invisible to being essential. From doing it all alone to having people who depended on him and people he could depend on right back. It hadn't been smooth, it hadn't been easy. There had been moments of doubt, of fear, of wanting to quit and go back to the safety of obscurity. But he'd shown up anyway, and that had made all the difference. Because here's what Logan had learned. What maybe we all learn if we're lucky enough and brave enough and stubborn enough to keep trying. Success isn't about being perfect. It's about being present. It's about seeing the moment when someone needs help and deciding to offer it, even when it's inconvenient. It's about taking chances on people, including yourself, especially yourself. It's about understanding that you can't do everything, but you can do something, and sometimes something is exactly enough. The world tells us we have to choose, career or family, ambition or contentment, safety or risk. But that's not really true, is it? What we actually have to do is figure out what matters most and build everything else around that. We have to learn to ask for help, to accept it when it's offered, to recognize that needing people isn't weakness, it's just being human. Logan had spent years trying to be self-sufficient, thinking that was the same as being strong. But strength, real strength, was knowing when to let someone else carry part of the weight. It was trusting people enough to be honest with them, even when honesty meant admitting you were struggling. It was showing up, over and over, even when you were tired, especially when you were tired. And sometimes, if you were very fortunate, showing up meant driving a stranger to a meeting one ordinary morning and discovering that ordinary mornings could be the beginning of something extraordinary. Not because of fate or destiny or any grand cosmic plan, but because two imperfect people decided to pay attention to each other, to show up when it mattered, to keep showing up even when it got complicated. That was the real story. Not about a rideshare driver who saved a company or a CEO who took a chance on someone unexpected, but about two people who found each other at exactly the right moment and decided to build something better than either of them could have built alone. And about a little girl named Mia who reminded her father every single day what he was really working for. Not the title, not the money, not the success, just the chance to be present, to be enough, to look at the people who mattered and know, without question, that he'd shown up for them when it counted. That was worth everything. That was worth more. Logan fell asleep thinking about tomorrow, about the new project Priya wanted to tackle, about the parent-teacher conference he had scheduled, about the life he'd built piece by piece from the wreckage of the old one. It wasn't perfect, but it was his. And it was good. And for the first time in longer than he could remember, that was more than enough. In the morning, he'd wake up early, make breakfast, get Mia ready for school, go to work and solve problems and collaborate with people who trusted him. Come home at 5, have dinner with his daughter, help with homework, tuck her in, and then do it all again the next day. Not because he had to, but because he wanted to. Because he'd finally figured out that the life you want isn't something you wait for. It's something you build, one choice at a time, one day at a time, one moment of showing up at a time. And sometimes, if you're really paying attention, you realize you're already living it.